In this video, we'll be finding the area enclosed by the curve y equals 2 minus x squared and the line y equals 1. First by hand, and then by using the iPad Ti-NSpire CAS app, which reproduces most of the functionality of the Ti-NSpire CAS calculator. Here's a very rough sketch of the two functions, and we can see the area enclosed by the curve and the line. So the part of the curve y equals 2 minus x squared that encloses the area is this part here. And the part of the line that encloses the area is this part of the line here. And we can see that the area enclosed, we'll just fill that in green, is just this area right here. Now we're ready to begin setting up our integration. And we'll note that the beginning point of the integration will be right here where the two functions meet, and then the end point will be right here where the two functions meet again. And we have to solve for those points. We note that the y value of both of those points is 1, but what's the x value? Well, we'll set the two functions equal to one another, and so y equals y, of course, and therefore 1 equals 2 minus x squared. So that means that x squared equals 1, and x equals minus 1, and x equals 1. Now we're ready to write our integral. We will integrate from minus 1 to 1, and we're going to take the top function, the y equals 2 minus x, and from it we're going to subtract the bottom function, the line y equals 1. So we're going to say 2 minus x squared minus 1 dx. And that, of course, is going to be the integral from minus 1 to 1 of 1 minus x squared dx. And that will be x minus x cubed over 3, evaluated from minus 1 to 1. Now let's plug in our endpoints. So we'll have 1 minus 1 over 3 minus 1 minus 1 over 3. So we're going to distribute some minus signs here. So we're going to have 1 minus 1/3 plus 1 minus 1/3. And that is going to be, of course, 2 minus 2/3, which is going to be 4/3. So our area in green here is going to be 4 over 3. Okay, so now we're going to solve the same problem by using our Ti-NSpire CAS app on the iPad. So we'll start by creating a document, and we're going to start with graphs. And we'll start by adding on our first function, that f1 of x is what we were calling y, and the first function will be f1 of x equals 2 minus x squared. Let's see what that looks like. There it is. Now we're going to add a second function to our graph, and we do so by using the little plus inside the circle, inside the blue line in the upper right corner. So this right here, and that gives us an opportunity to add a second function, and that's simply going to be f2 of x equals 1, or y equals 1. And there are our two functions. Now, just like before, we want to find the beginning point and end point of our integration. And so we want to find the place where these two functions intersect one another. And there's a tool that we can use within the graphing feature of the calculator here to do that. We're going to go to Analyze Graph, and we're going to look at intersection. And there'll be two intersections here, of course, but we're going to move the line over toward where the first intersection is, and we'll see that that line goes on either side of that boundary, and we're going to hit the little intersection thing there, and there we see that the first intersection point is -1, 1. And then we're going to do that same thing again, Analyze Graph, Intersection. And this time we're going to move the intersection over toward the end point, and we'll hit intersection again, and we see that that point is 1, 1. So that's how we have found the beginning and end points of our integration right on the graphing tool. So now we're going to add a calculator to our document, and we will do that by clicking on the little plus sign in the upper left-hand corner, and we will choose Calculator. And we want to solve for the intersection points using the same method that we did when we were doing it by hand. We've already got the intersection points from the graphing section, but we'd like to do this by using the same method that we did by hand. And so we're going to go up to the little wrench tool, and we're going to choose Algebra and Solve. And we're going to solve the equality of the two functions. So that is 1 equals 2 minus x squared with respect to x. And we'll see that we got the same thing we got before, x equals -1 or x equals 1. There's another way of doing this. If we had more roots than that, more solutions than that to the equation, it might get a little bit confusing. So we can ask for only the negative root or only the positive root. Let's just do that just to see what that looks like. So again, we go to Algebra and Solve. 1 equals 2 minus x squared with regard to x. And then outside of the parenthesis here, we're going to put in the up-down line, which we find in the comma here. And we're just going to choose the up-down line. And we're going to say for the such that up-down line can be read as such that x is less than 0. And we'll see what solution it gives us there. And we see that there we have the solution x equals -1. And we could do the same thing for x is greater than 0. So now we'll just do out our integral. Again, we go to the wrench tool, and we come to calculus this time, and we choose integral. And we're going to be integrating from -1 to 1, the same integral that we did before, and that is 2 minus x squared minus 1 dx. And we see we get 4/3, which is the same thing we got before. There's another way we can do this, though, because we already have both of those functions defined within this document. We have f1 of x and f2 of x defined, and we can simply plug them into the integrator here. So we go to calculus, and we go to integral. Again, we need to give the points -1 and 1. But rather than saying 2 minus x squared minus 1, we could say f1 of x minus f2 of x dx. And you see we'll get the same thing. So I hope that you've enjoyed this video, and we hope to see you back sometime soon. Thank you.